Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, BJ, is known for its emphasis on ground fighting, where technique and strategy often outshine raw strength. Whether you're a beginner or an advanced practitioner, mastering the ground game is key to dominating your opponent. Let's break down how you can do it. In BJJ, position is everything. Before you even think about submitting an opponent, you need to secure dominant positions. The goal is to control your opponent's movements while minimizing your own exposure to submission attacks. The best positions to aim for are side control, mount, and back control, as they allow for maximum control and a variety of submission options. For example, from the mount position, you have access to submissions like the armbar or choke, while from back control, you can set up rear naked chokes. Mastering these positions takes time and consistent practice, as you'll need to understand how to maintain pressure, balance, and leverage to prevent escapes. One mistake that many beginners make is abandoning position for a submission attempt, only to lose control. This is why positional dominance must always be prioritized over chasing submissions. As you advance, you'll start to recognize the subtleties of each position and how small adjustments can lead to big advantages in controlling your opponent. Sweeps are techniques used to reverse positions, turning a disadvantageous situation into an advantageous one. When you're on your back in guard, your goal is often to sweep your opponent to gain top control. One of the most fundamental sweeps is the hip bump sweep, where you use your hips to create space and leverage to roll your opponent onto their back. Another powerful sweep is the scissor sweep, where you use your legs to off-balance your opponent and create an opening for a transition into top position. The ability to execute sweeps effectively requires excellent timing and a solid understanding of your opponent's weight distribution. Sweeps are often about redirecting your opponent's momentum rather than using raw strength. As you gain experience, you'll start to see openings for sweeps that you would have missed earlier, and you'll become better at setting them up through fakes and misdirection. The key to sweeping successfully is to anticipate your opponent's movements and to always be one step ahead, constantly looking for the perfect moment to capitalize. The guard is one of the most vital positions in BJJ, as it allows you to defend while also preparing for attacks. When you're in the guard, you're on your back with your legs around your opponent, controlling their posture and movements. The closed guard, where your legs are locked around their waist, is a dominant position that enables sweeps, submissions, and controls. The open guard allows more movement and transitions, but it also requires greater timing and control. The key to mastering the guard is learning how to break your opponent's posture, stay tight to prevent them from passing, and set up attacks like the armbar, triangle choke, or kimura. It's important to remember that your guard isn't just a defensive position. It's a place to launch your offensive attacks, whether that's through submissions or sweeps. Learning how to keep your opponent off balance and unable to set up their own game is the hallmark of a strong guard player. As you progress, your guard should evolve from simply preventing passes to actively setting traps that force your opponent into vulnerable positions. From the bottom position, submissions are often the most effective way to win. While it may seem challenging to submit an opponent when you're on your back, BJJ is built around the concept of using leverage and technique to overcome strength. One of the most classic submissions from guard is the triangle choke, which involves trapping your opponent's head and arm with your legs to create a choking mechanism. Another powerful submission is the armbar, where you isolate the opponent's arm and apply pressure on the elbow joint. To master submissions from the bottom, you need patience, flexibility, and a sharp sense of timing to capitalize on your opponent's mistakes. Many beginners rush their submissions or fail to properly isolate the limb, which leads to escapes. To prevent this, focus on securing control before attempting a submission, and make sure you've accounted for your opponent's ability to escape or counter. The more precise your movements are, the harder it becomes for your opponent to escape, even when they're much stronger than you. Passing the guard is one of the most challenging aspects of BJJ. When your opponent is in guard, your objective is to break their control and transition into a dominant top position. A strong guard pass requires understanding the different types of guard: closed, open, butterfly, and half guard, and how to effectively neutralize each. One popular pass is the knee slice, where you slice your knee across your opponent's legs to move past their guard while controlling their upper body. A successful guard pass requires excellent balance, pressure, and timing to avoid sweeps or submission attempts from your opponent. While passing the guard can be a difficult and exhausting task, it's essential to stay calm and patient, gradually working your way past your opponent's defenses. As you practice more, you'll develop the ability to read your opponent's movements and anticipate their reactions, making passing easier over time. Remember, a successful guard pass is less about strength and more about leveraging body mechanics to break through the guard and secure a dominant position. In BJJ, maintaining a solid base is essential to prevent being swept or submitted. When on top, you need to stay low and keep your weight centered over your opponent to prevent them from off-balancing you. A strong base ensures that you can pressure your opponent without leaving yourself vulnerable to sweeps or reversals. For example, when you're in side control, you should keep your hips low and your chest heavy on your opponent to prevent them from creating space. The key to a strong base is balance and awareness, always being aware of your positioning and adjusting as needed to stay in control. In BJJ, maintaining a solid base is essential to prevent being swept or submitted. When on top, you need to stay low and keep your weight centered over your opponent. The mental aspect of BJJ is just as important as the physical. As you progress, you'll encounter tougher opponents and more challenging positions. Staying calm under pressure is crucial for success, especially when you're stuck in a difficult position like side control or mount. BJJ requires you to think 2 or 3 steps ahead, constantly adjusting your strategy based on your opponent's movements. Adaptability is key. What works in one role might not work in the next. Being patient and understanding that each role is an opportunity to learn will help you grow as a practitioner. Mastering the ground game in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is a combination of physical technique, mental focus, and relentless practice. By focusing on dominant positions, submissions, sweeps, and transitions, you'll become a more complete grappler. The journey may take time, but the rewards are worth it. Whether you're using BJJ for self-defense, competition, or personal growth, keep drilling, keep rolling, and let the mat be your teacher.